What's up, guys? Today on All Sports Center, we'll be going over a college football game preview. This one's going to be over Notre Dame and Georgia. Both of these teams are top 7. This is probably our biggest game of the first 4 weeks of this season. Obviously, it's a top 10 matchup, but also, it also shows whether Notre Dame is a real team this season or not, and also whether Georgia can possibly make a playoff run this year once again. But today we'll be going over whether I think, or which team that I think is going to win this game, along with analysis on it as well. This game is going to be on Saturday, obviously, 8 p.m. Eastern. Georgia is currently leading the spread by 13.5. The FBI is saying Georgia is 67%. Vegas is saying 43-30 Georgia. So, really, all three of those sources, all three of those predictions are saying Georgia by quite a bit. I can totally see that with Notre Dame being an independent team, not really in a conference. But then again, Notre Dame they don't have the easiest schedule being an independent. They still have several ranked teams on their schedule, Georgia's being one of them. But they also have many more difficult opponents that they have to play this season. And so we will know for sure whether Notre Dame is real, and we will know very soon, it seems like, especially with this game coming up. Both these teams, here's your Week 3 statistics for both of them. We could not do an actual stat comparison for this game, meaning we couldn't compare the standings based off of rushing offense or rushing defense. You'll see that in most other videos, or most other game predictions, but in this one we can't because Georgia, we're early on in the season, and so having Georgia with 3 games, the stats will be much higher for them. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, it'll be much less because they've only played 2. And so with that being said, I think that we'll be able to completely do stat comparisons standing-wise once we get into the later weeks in the season, but since we're still in the beginning of it, that's why we're having to do this for some games. Here's our Week 3 stats, though. Notre Dame played New Mexico, absolutely routed them. 66-14 was your final score there. Looked very good there. And, Georgia looked great, too, against Arkansas State at home. Shut them out 55-0. And so, yeah, with that being said, both teams are coming off great wins and blowout wins for that matter. And so, both teams really are coming off with a lot of energy for sure, especially if they're playing 2 more weaker opponents. Notre Dame has Ian Book at quarterback. Last week he was 15 for 24, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns against New Mexico. Kyron Williams at running back, 4 attempts, 26 yards. So really the running core was not very active against New Mexico. But the passing game was very much active. Chase Claypool, 4 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown. Javon McKinley, 2 receptions, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. And there are several other wide receivers that had action against New Mexico last week. Meanwhile, for the Georgia side, Jake Fromm was 17 for 22, only 5 incompletions last week. 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift had 9 attempts for 76 yards. George Pickens he had 5 receptions, 84 yards, no touchdowns. Dominic Baylock, 4 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. So obviously, those are your main key players that will be in this matchup. All those guys look to be healthy right now. Obviously, Notre Dame's going to have to use their running core a lot more in this game if they're going to win. They're going to need to use all points of their offense if they're going to beat Georgia. And especially with Georgia being at home, it is going to be a very tough environment. And also with it being a night game as well, it's going to be very difficult for this Notre Dame team really to pull anything off. They really need to come to play here in Week 4. Here's a few key points of this game, effects of this game down the road. Just kind of considering it, both of these teams really are going to be close, or they were close even last year. Notre Dame made it to the playoff last year, and Georgia was really close. But obviously, this is going to have big impacts on the playoff, and usually you don't really consider that early on in the season. But I think for most fans of this game, you got to consider that this game's a big deal. It's as big of a deal right now as it would be at the end of the season. For both teams, the loss would be very, very brutal, and it'd be very detrimental to your resume going in towards when we get the championship season in December. So yeah, with that being said, very important game for both teams, especially Notre Dame, because Notre Dame they've got, Georgia's got many times that they can prove themselves, but Notre Dame on the other hand, they play in a variety of opponents. They do play some ranked teams once again, but yeah, this is still a very, very important game. Georgia with the home field advantage, that's going to be very helpful for them. If Notre Dame was at home, I honestly could consider Notre Dame to possibly be a very big upset contender in this game. How would Notre Dame win this one? Staying consistent on offense, having a great offense, and sticking with Georgia. Do not let Georgia get in front of you by more than 14 points, or else this game could get out of hand. How would Georgia win? Get up early, kind of the opposite of Notre Dame. Get up early and kind of shut Notre Dame out of the picture. Georgia's got an amazing defense. They've got a stellar defense. They've got a great offense to go with it. Don't get me wrong there. But their defense is excellent, and that's what could be a big factor for Notre Dame in the end. So Georgia, just get up early and stay up there. But here's my prediction for this game in the end. Notre Dame, you want to think, fans of this game are going to think that, especially Notre Dame fans are going to be like, okay, we got a really good chance in this game, we think. The thing is, though, Notre Dame lost a lot of talent after last year. They had many seniors, and don't get me wrong, they still have a ton of talent. But this Notre Dame team, I think, in the end, is not going to be as good as last year. And 24-17 is going to be your halftime score. Georgia leads. I think Georgia controls this game handily. I think that Notre Dame sticks with them early on. I think this is a very close game early on, possibly within 7 points, almost 100% of the first half. But then in the second half, we're going to see Georgia start to pull away a little bit. They'll probably get a good touchdown or so early on in the half, and then they'll get another touchdown eventually. I think offensively, it'll be much slower in the second half than it will be in the first half. We'll see lots of scoring going on, though otherwise in this game. I do expect it to be a pretty high-scoring one, even though Georgia has an excellent defense. Both offenses, though, are excellent, so that's what's going to be a big factor in seeing whether this is going to be a high-scoring game or not. But I think your final score 38-27. Georgia wins it by a touchdown and a field goal. In the end, once again, it still will be a very close game. I think 31-27 will probably be your score, and then Georgia's going to get the ball back and they're going to score. That's how they're going to get that 30-27. They're going to get the ball back towards the end of the game, so I think it's going to be a late touchdown that gets them up to that 38 marker. In the end, I think it's going to be a great game. Really looking forward to this one. This is probably going to be one of my most anticipated games of Week 4. Obviously, it's a very big game, especially this early on in the season. This matchup was very big, especially for Michigan last year. We saw them play each other. Actually, I don't remember if that was the year before last year or last year. Obviously that had big impacts on both of their seasons for sure. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comments below. If you think Notre Dame can pull an upset, there are many reasons to think that Notre Dame can pull an upset here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Notre Dame win this game at all, but in the end, I think Georgia's just a little bit more talented, and that's what gets them in the end. But let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comments below. If you do think Georgia can pull it off, I kind of agree with you. Let me know your reasoning. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys all for watching. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central.